Politicians are very good at playing with words. They always talk about gun control. How about right control? Because when you go against the Second Amendment, that's our right. That's our God-given right, not only by God, but by the founding fathers. So why don't you just call it what it really is, right control. You're taking our rights away. You cannot regulate evil. Evil is evil, and evil is always going to be persistent, and it's always going to be here. So why get rid of our ability to protect ourselves? The Second Amendment right protects the rest of them, and it protects us. It protects your home, your body, and your spirit, because without it, how are you going to protect yourself? Don't be a sheep. Don't follow just because it's popular. Think for yourself. Be yourself. Be that individual that God made you to be. He wasn't born to follow. He was born to lead.
Brother and sister veterans, we're here today with Eric Trump, and it's a great day.
I want to make sure everybody knows that Admiral Kubik was with us from the very beginning. He was back in '16 and is a real warrior. I was so glad some of the Navy senior flag officers were standing up there. Flynn.
Hey everybody, Brick Suit here. I am in a fabulous event for President Trump rally hosted by Turning Point Action. And I know we all love our veterans, but there's a group out there you really check out. It's Veterans for America First. They support all sorts of America First candidates, and they have a veteran focus. I'm sure you're going to like it because we love our veterans. President Trump loves our veterans. Give them a look-see.
Hey, what's up, man? It's Forgiato. Well, I want to give a shout out to Veterans of America, Veterans First. We need to put more respect on our veterans and not our illegal immigrants. Trump 2024.
Hey folks, it's John Rich here, Veterans for Trump, incredible organization. We love our vets. Without men and women willing to sacrifice and die if necessary for our country, we wouldn't have a country. And we all know that. Much respect and much love. God bless you.
Perfect.
Hey, Congressman Mike Collins here. Listen, a big shout out to Veterans for America First, organization out there doing great things, backing candidates and helping our veterans, people who really need your help and deserve all the gratitude, debt we could never repay them. Thank you for what you're doing. Keep up the hard work.
To all the veterans out there, especially Veterans for America First, we have got to deliver Trump victory. God bless, let's save this country.
Hi, it's House Republican Conference Chair Elise Stefanik, representative for New York's 21st Congressional District. Thank you to Veterans for America First for all your hard work. We know that President Trump strongly supports our veterans, and our veterans must turn out to vote for him. Thank you very much. Let's save America.
Hey Georgia and Veterans for Donald J. Trump. You are the reason President Trump prioritizes national security, because we do not want to send our sons and daughters to fight another man's war anymore. You guys are the reason we are safe and secure in this country, and it's about time we put a commander-in-chief back in office to prioritize our veterans and our armed forces. Vote DJT.
Hey everybody, it's former Congressman Doug Collins, also Colonel, United States Air Force Reserve. For our America First veterans out there, thank you for the service, thank you for the work. We got a lot of work ahead. You keep doing what you're doing, we always got your back.
Hey, Congressman Jim Jordan here. Just want to say thank you for helping Veterans for America First and all the great work they're doing.
And thank you for helping me in my campaign. You were my first endorsement, so too was Chairman Jordan. Let's get out of it. Thank you.
Are you a voting member of the NRA? My name is Lucretia Hughes. I will never compromise my beliefs in God, family, our country, and my Second Amendment. I am running for the board of directors of the NRA, and I would appreciate your vote. Welcome to the Real News with Lucretia Hughes. We are on site. We're down under the Gold Dome, and we're talking to MAGA, and I mean make America great again, make Godly great again, make Georgia great again. And I want to introduce y'all to State Representative 81, Ms. Noelle can do it.
Kahaian. That's right.
Kahaian. So, like I said, in the state of Georgia right now, there's a lot of toss-ups, a lot of races, a lot of things getting ready to come on. Go on. In Georgia, the Republican caucus is getting ready to come up in March. Depending if you're in a county over 80 or in a county under 80, it depending on when your caucus is We want you to get out there. We want you to get involved. We want you to be grassroots, and we want you to be a part of making our state great again. So everybody, I want to introduce you to Noelle, and just tell everybody a little bit about yourself.
Yes, hi there. I'm Noelle Kahaian, District 81. I live in Locust Grove. It's sections of Locust Grove and McDonough. And it's just a great, hard-working community. That's what I call it. We've lived there for over 10 years now. And there's nothing like McDonough, Locust Grove. Small community, but we still have the big city right nearby and restaurants and things. We've got the outlet mall right there, so all the kids worked there for their first, some of their first jobs. So working retail and restaurants is very good for kids. I did it myself.
So being in Locust Grove, and it's still a close-knit community, because I actually know where McDonough and Locust Grove is at. Are you kind of afraid right now because there are blue areas that is encroaching on the small town feel and on the small town community? Do you see a change up there in Henry County at all?
Sure, there has been the last 10 years. For instance, when we first moved there, we had a giant peach orchard, and we were able to get peach ice cream, and that's gone now, and it's been replaced by manufacturers, which is good for our community. And we've got a lot of warehouses there also. But as far as blue voters, we have a lot of your typical blue voters that are now coming to our GOP meetings. The Trump election, it changed the whole atmosphere. We have libertarians now coming over to our GOP meetings, and I've been part of them right when I moved there. I got plugged into my GOP, and we had amazing chairwoman, Barbara Jessup, and she really trained all of us. And then along came the precinct project, Dan Schultz, that changed everything, especially in Georgia. I was an officer. I started as a precinct chairman and worked my way all the way up to first vice chair, and still helping out wherever I can. And like you said, the precinct caucuses are so important. Then we're going to have county caucuses, a district convention, state convention. I already got my hotel reservations.
Already?
Oh yes, ma'am. I don't even know if I'm going to be a delegate, but I have my reservations, because that's how important being involved with our GOP is. We've got resolutions coming up. I used to be on the resolutions team for the state committee also. I do a lot of secretarial and organizing of people. So getting involved with your GOP, our whole state could change next year.
I've been a delegate for consistency the last 6 cycles. Last year we weren't able to go to the actual convention itself because I'm on the outreach committee for the NRA.
Yes.
And the convention was going hand in hand. This year it's going to happen again, but this year I get the opportunity to actually run for the board of directors, so I can make Georgia and women gun rights and women have a little bit more voice when it comes to the national level. Now, you being at the state level and having a powerful voice, do you think you could really change some things down here under the Gold Dome?
Absolutely, and asking questions is so important. Maybe I won't be able to change a whole bill, but asking the important questions and making other people think, well, is that really what we need for Georgia? Is that the proper role of government, is what I'm always asking. If we're going to be having overreach of our administrative state, we need to have a stop to that. There's some bills this year that we're looking at that are an overreach of government, and we just can't have that without asking the tough questions.
I love it. I know we talked on the phone earlier. We really stepped in the mama bear role and parent role, and have parents having more freedom and more power in their children's lives. There's a lot of stuff that's getting ready to come to the hopper or come on the floor that need to be that interferes with parents' rights. Do you see? Because we know President Trump just signed an executive order giving parents freedom more of school choices, giving powers back to the parents. Do you see that being a trickle effect down here under the state of Georgia? Because there's been a lot of situations, a lot of issues, no matter if it's the butter box baby, DFACS, if it was DFACS, if it's family and children services, if it's the family court, if it's the schools, if it's counselors, taking a bigger role than the parents and trying to silence the parents' voice. What do you think that you can do as a lawmaker and a mother to instill parents' rights back to the parents?
Right. Well, I've been traveling the state for about 6 years now, giving presentations. My nonprofit is Protect Student Health Georgia, where we protect kids from the sexualization that's happening in the schools. So I have been traveling the state for free, just giving training to a lot parents, yes, but the grandmama bears. And the Grandpapa Bears, that is actually where it's at. So seeing the courage at the Capitol in DC with President Trump is actually making parents think, wait a minute, I don't have to put up with that. And the biggest problem I see with parents, and they don't even know that they're doing it, they are censoring themselves. They are chilling their own speech. And a lot of times, even with the books, so we have sexually explicit books in our schools, and the parents don't want to say anything because they might get their child might get retaliated against, and that is a big problem. We don't. I see parents, they don't want to let their kids play outside because defects might come. We've got an awful story. Brittany Patterson out in Fannin County. She was arrested in front of her children because her 11-year-old went too far
to the store.
Went too far from home.
It was a mile away.
What is too far?
Yes.
It was a mile. He went to the store by himself.
Yes.
It made national news.
Yes.
We used to babysit at his age growing up. I'm a grandmother of 9. He's a grandfather of 9.
Love it.
And the drama that they come to Grandma Papa DK house and talk about. I can't believe that I have to correct school teachers.
Oh, yes.
I can't believe I have to correct counselors and not perverting my children, my grandchildren, and indoctrinating them. But so it's my job. I know they have a mom and a dad, great parents, my son. I know they training them right, but they say stuff to me and to us when they come down there where they're more freer. But I also see myself stepping in that road and correcting them when it should be corrected in school and not vice versa. So I had to correct them with the flag, the rainbow flag. Number one, that's a promise between God and man. That's a God and man situation. They didn't have a clue about Noah, the ark, any of that, the rainbow and what it truly means. The last time she came down, she said, Grandma, illegal children have better rights than we do. I said, no, they don't. She said, well, that's what my teacher told me, and we had to break it down to her that, no, ma'am, you have more rights. This is why your grandmother and grandfather go around the country speaking. It's because we're trying to save your future. And she's like, well, what is my teacher's going to say? I said, tell them to call me.
There you go.
I will go to school.
There you go. And we all hear from teachers that are asking for help. Great teachers that say, this is what we're being taught to say, whether it's in college and when they're in school, student teaching. I've known 2 teachers, kindergarten teachers, that decided to quit because they were just not going to say what they were supposed to say. So we have a lot of teachers, a lot of librarians. How we found out about some of the books is they would actually say, we need help. And that's when we said, we will protect you, we won't use your name, thank you for giving us all this information. But there's great teachers out there that are fighting back. And again, with the Trump administration, it's giving courage. It's contagious.
The parents should automatically know it's a right for the parents to go in and actually read books before they go into a library. But most parents don't feel like they need to step in that road to be a librarian when you actually need to be paying attention to the sexual immorality that's inside of even elementary schools nowadays. Is there something that you can do, or something that I know it's an uphill battle and you might have to wait until next session, but do you think there's something that you can do to put the rights back in the parents' hand at the state level?
Right, so starting maybe 4 years ago, I would explain to people that there is a loophole in Georgia law. It's illegal for anyone in this room or this Capitol to show obscene materials, sexually explicit materials to children, except there's 2 loopholes. Public school can, yes, public schools can, and they do, and public libraries can, and they do. So we had a bill to start with public schools. It would have to be, the loophole for schools would be removed, and there would be a civil penalty. Well, that bill did not go very far. And I had all the examples with the books up on the screen, and I'm not talking about Catcher in the Rye. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about very explicit material. So again, this year, we're trying again with an affirmative defense, SB 87, or is it 78? Sometimes I get numbers backwards. But I will do whatever I can, again, to help. And again, we have to let people know this is happening because parents are trusting.
Yes.
Grandparents are trusting. They know of the issue up there, and it's not a tough.
Do you think he's handcuffed?
I hope the state school superintendent is never handcuffed. I pray to God. But nothing's been done about it.
Quote unquote, he's handcuffed.
So would you suggest parents in the state of Georgia to start calling
So what happened years ago is they created a glorified parent appeal process.
Okay.
So the parents can find out about a book and they can appeal it. So it's putting, again, all the work on a busy parent already who's paying these property taxes and these school taxes to who they're assuming this isn't happening. So everything's on the parent. So after that bill passed, I hear from parents, hey, if my child gets retaliated against because I complain about a book, of course, that's not the right mindset, but that's what parents are thinking. So I would like to expand it to taxpayers. We've had parents and taxpayers all across the state actually asking for books to be reviewed because of the content, and we already know what the content is. You know, it's throughout the books. It's, you know, why do you have to throw in this sexualized material into a book? We know why. We know why.
Well, parents calling senators actually and saying,
Yes.
hey,
And
I know,
Yes.
you know, SB
Yes.
78 or 87, whatever it is, I know it's coming to the floor and I expect you
Yep.
to vote yes,
Yep.
or whatever the case may be.
And when it gets past the Senate, we really need help in the House.
In the House,
You know, because
right.
sometimes the Senate isn't where we need the most help, but they have to be calling everybody, even their school districts and their school boards. They need to know about it. And there are enough allies,
Yes.
and I call them factivists, because we're activists, but we work on facts. We can tell the parents, hey, it's not just this one book, you know, that Susie brought home. It's other books, or it's not just physical books. It's what they're finding on the online databases. So we actually have allies all across the country that can, across the country, but even in the state, that can help them find out what is actually in that school. Because they'll say it's not happening.
It's happening because it's happening in Gwinnett County, and if Gwinnett County is one of the biggest districts in Georgia, it's gonna bleed out to Walton, Henry,
It's
Whitehall.
everywhere. It's everywhere.
How do you stop that? They just fired their school superintendent and getting ready to get another one. No, that's a good thing.
Oh, wow.
That's very
That's a
good.
good thing.
Because last year I spoke at my parents' school board meeting on a particular book, and they had it staged to where if I were to walk, any other person that wasn't me would walk in and be like, nope, because they staged a night around this actual sort of book that I was coming to make a statement on. And I was like, oh, you have no idea who I am. Okay.
Well,
Here I go into the lion's den.
That's right.
So this is actually very good that he has been now fired.
Okay.
So we need better leadership in Gwinnett, well, statewide actually,
Yes.
because this is a problem within the state of Georgia, in every single district, every single county, that not a lot of parents, I mean, just like you said, growing up, we trust our teachers, we trust our government, and we trust the news. And we have had the wool now finally removed, thank you, President Trump, and to leadership like yours, to where we need to be really, really vocal in a good way. But getting new leaders and those who will advocate for our kids.
And a lot of people are talking about having school superintendents elected now.
I think
Yes,
that
I
is
think
a
that should-
fantastic
Right?
idea.
Have you seen the school board races? That would be a mess. Can you imagine if the school board races are already $19,000 to $30,000 of what minimum you have to raise in order to run? Can you imagine a school superintendent, how that's gonna be a mess?
Well, I'm here for all of it.
Now with Henry County, what, are y'all a 2A sanctuary?
No.
Have y'all thought about becoming a 2A sanctuary? I know the state of Georgia and Brian Kemp signed the constitutional carry law. So it really doesn't mean a lot because you have a constitutional carry law, but just like Kennesaw, Georgia, you have an option to have guns in your house because the time for a cop to actually get to your house, you're already gone. So do you think in Henry County that would bleed over from Kennesaw, so it's an option and it takes a load off of the police force that's already in Henry County? So have you thought about adopting laws like Kennesaw has done?
I would love to. So what I like to do is see what other counties are doing it well, and then be able to show them as examples. So absolutely.
Because we know we usually take, 5 to 10 minutes before the cops actually come to your house, depending on how far out you live.
That's right.
So by that time, you dead and gone. So the first an officer for me that said, where's your gun? You walking in the street by yourself. I'm knocking on doors, running for state representative, 1 to 16. He said, I don't care what you're doing. Where's your gun? And I said, I don't have one of them guns. He said, I never see you on the street by yourself, knocking on doors, campaigning, and you're not having a gun on you at all time. So this is when Officer Jones out of Barrow County, he said, I don't even let my wife leave the house anymore. That's how serious it is. And then he started talking to me, and I started getting more involved in the 2A. So I'm really praying, because the biggest ethnic group and the biggest gender group to buy guns and learn to train is women.
That's right.
So I just feel that a woman need to take that lead and do a lot of training. And there's a lot of different female groups in Georgia that, like you said, once you do and read and see what Kennesaw is doing, and if you can actually adopt it. There's a couple of ladies I know that's part of the Women's Gun Rights that is in Georgia that would really love to step in and help you and
we
guide
have
you.
great gun ranges in Henry County. Amchar is one of our biggest, and they have ladies' night every Tuesday.
Okay.
So that's always fun. And they actually have partnered with our GOP for one of our big events, and they've created, I want to say 80 some or maybe more than that, Trump Glocks, custom Glocks.
Did she just sit up?
I did.
They are gorgeous.
Looks like I'm in Henry County.
They're
Next
gorgeous.
Tuesday.
Yeah, you would love Henry County.
Wait a minute. What do it say? It says Trump Glock on it?
No, it's a
It's
Glock.
probably on the.
It's a Glock.
And it's on
Yep.
the little,
Yes. I'll send you some pictures.
Okay, you have to send me that because I haven't seen that one.
And
Is
a
it pink?
portion, I believe there's a few different colors.
Gold.
And when you purchase it, part of the proceeds go back to our local GOP. Every county should be partnering with their gun ranges. Yeah, they do
I like
amazing
that.
work.
But our county is a 2A sanctuary. Sheriff Chapman, he just retired. He came down here during the scam, the shutdown, and he stood out there on those steps and he said, "You will pry them from my cold dead hands."
God bless him.
And he stood up there. He said, "I am the constitutional constitutional sheriff in my county. I declare we are a 2A sanctuary."
Awesome.
And ever since that, our new sheriff, Sheriff Brooks, is also a 2A, and plus Sheriff Chapman was a sharpshooter for the Navy and
Marines.
then Marines, which even make him even worse. So we got some great
We
sheriffs.
need that to bleed over to Gwinnett.
Yes, everywhere. And speaking of constitutional sheriffs, we're having Chris Ann Hall,
Okay.
constitutional law attorney expert. She'll be speaking in Fayetteville on Saturday. Very excited to have her.
Why would everybody don't know about this? This should be like Eventbrite.
Yes, we have we've got our RSVP list is growing and growing. I think we're going to have to move from one of the rooms to a bigger room. Going to have to order more Chick-fil-A.
Okay.
Gotta bring him in too.
Chick-fil-A and her, you know what? Because she is a national speaker.
She is.
Now, what about you, as being a lady, a female, a sitting representative? That's huge. That's big. And have you thought about being a role model? Not only just a parent, but a role model to other young ladies and men and boys if necessary, but even if it's not in your district.
Right. Well, I think I've been doing that for a long time already. I've been on the board of pregnancy centers before in the past. I actually teach healthy relationships through the local school districts. I taught 6th through 12th. The pregnancy center has an amazing curriculum. People call it sex ed, but it's healthy relationships is really what it is. So I've been doing that for many years, and I was doing my door knocking, and some of my students a lot of them are able to vote, and in their mid-20s now. So I hopefully I've been a role model to some of them, but it's an awesome responsibility. It's it feels like a lot of pressure, but that's another thing I love about Chris Ann Hall, because she says the job of the state legislator is to be the guardian of the state's sovereignty.
Mm-hmm.
And just because we have Trump in office and his picks doesn't mean that we don't have to watch for federal encroachments, federal money, I'm talking education.
Or international.
Yes, or international. So hopefully to be a role model for states' rights, for state sovereignty, for asking questions and not taking the status quo. I mean, this election cycle, we wanted a change. And by God, did we get it?
Got it.
We got it. And I'm hearing Doge, Georgia.
Yes.
I am hearing all about that.
You're gonna be a chairwoman like Marjorie Taylor Greene would be.
I'll be the research guru, whatever
Be the
they need.
chairwoman. Be the chairwoman. That's even better. You can tell people what to do.
Yes, Doge, Georgia.
Oh,
I would like.
You sign it?
If there's a team,
I will.
If there's a team, I'm on it. Yeah. Yeah, we will help. That's a big.
All women, and you know we nosy, so we will find.
We are FBI before the FBI is.
That's right. That's right.
Okay. So, do you think? I mean, because are you allowed to go to different? Are you ever asked from different other legislators to come inside of their district and talk?
Oh,
And
sure.
we want to help.
Oh, yeah.
We really do. We number one, like I said, I'm a grandmother, and it needs to stop. It is frightening because this isn't the 70s Georgia, 80s, or 90s Georgia.
Yep.
And our kids have a lot more thrown at them than what we had back then. Plus, they have video cameras all over the place.
That's right. I remember going down to St. Mary's, and they were so happy to have somebody come that far. I said, I will drive anywhere to train you guys on how to protect our kids and reinforce your parental rights and ask the questions that grandparents, they're not very afraid. Those grandparents are not timid. They'll come out to that school board meeting and ask those questions.
Yes.
Yes, they will. That's why I love the grandparents.
And I appreciate it because not only are you willing to go out to other people areas, because Georgia's huge. People don't seem to understand there's 159 counties. It's a big place. And so for you to go northwest, east, south, that is great because a lot of these grassroots, a lot of these communities, once their elected representative is in there, they don't go to the meetings. They don't talk to people anymore. And even though we go down there, we teach people, we teach them how to vet people, we teach them how to primary people, how to look at their background, their campaign contributions. We trust these people as being grassroots. But then they get it down here under the Gold Dome and drink the Kool-Aid and forget all about the people that actually placed them in office.
Yep.
What advice would you have to the grassroots people that just want to give up now because they are so tired of being stabbed in the back?
Now is not the time to give up. Everything's going to change in April. People will be moving around, making announcements, moving up for higher office, and if they don't win, then they're out, and that could leave a seat open.
Ooh, I saw him walking down the stairs a while ago. I had to drop my head. I said, no.
Sweet.
And he looked at both of us.
Yes, he did.
He was like, I know he ain't coming over here. He almost, I said, I know you don't be. Let's go the other way.
Yeah, but we cannot shrink from this right now.
We can't.
Everything can change in 2026 in Georgia.
Only if we keep allowing nonpartisan races.
Right.
Can you put a stop to that?
I will do my best.
Because they need, if you get in politics, there need to be an ethnic class. There has to be an ethnic class. You need, if we gotta, in health insurance, if we gotta take a class, a continuous class every 2 years, ethics class, fiduciary responsibility classes, rights and wrongs, breaking the laws, and I feel like the sitting representatives, when you get hired, because pretty much we hiring you to represent us, you need to have classes. So you know the Georgia State Constitution, United States Constitution, and every 2 years you need a refresher.
Well, even certain laws, like Georgia
Yes.
law.
Can we do that?
You most certainly can, because
Can
in
you
the
do that?
finance industry, we literally have to take a regulation test on bank regulations that are law every single year. And if you don't pass it, that's not good.
As we see, our former insurance commissioner is still doing time right about now. Is he out of jail? Okay, he's still doing time. So we saw the other commissioner downstairs, and he fit in well. And I've seen a lot of it's a little bit easier getting business license and different things like that. So for him to be the insurance commissioner, and he does make us take continuous classes every 2 years. Do you think you could talk to him about getting legislators to do the same?
Absolutely.
You think they would go for it?
Well, we can try. You know, people say, oh, we can't do that. Maybe not this year, but if enough of us are talking about it and we're trying and we're writing it up and we've got legislation, then we get more and more people on board. And like you were saying, running for office, these grassroots people have to know if they're going to run for office, everything's going to be coming at them. Same thing happened to me. I decided to run in a primary, and right out the gate, I got an ethics complaint filed against me.
When was this?
Me. I am
Wait.
most boring.
What year?
Yes, just this past year, this past cycle.
But you know they're doing that because they don't want regular Georgians to actually run for office.
Yep.
That is why they changed the rules of the game a couple of years ago.
Disrupting status quo.
Yes. Why would you do that?
Yep.
Because why would you do that? If you want to run for civil servant, it doesn't matter where you come from as long as you qualify.
Yep.
Now they're making you jump through hoops and they making it seem like you got to be rich in order to host
And
office.
you don't, because I am not rich, and I ran my heart out. First time I ran, lost by 22 votes. decided to run again. Yep, it was God's plans. My husband and I, we agreed on that, and we got the go-ahead, and right out the jump, after a qualification, I got an ethics complaint filed against me by my opponent's campaign manager.
For what?
Saying that I must have been an unregistered lobbyist for blowing the whistle on the bad books. Yeah, and excuse me, not bad books. Books aren't bad. These sexually explicit books. So somebody must have been paying me to do that. So my husband and I, we went through a financial colonoscopy about 9 months. Had to get an attorney's fees. So this is not for the faint.
Wait, was it a Republican or a Democrat?
Republican in the primary. Yes. Yes.
Bleep this out. Who was it?
Lauren Daniel. Yep. And in the, are we still bleeping?
This off the record.
Okay.
Since you bleeped it out.
Stuff is on, but we're not live.
Right.
And I will be editing before anything.
So
why they do it dirty though? It's like they want to hold on to power.
That's all it is.
The whole write-up is, do you know Bill Simon with the Political Vine?
Yes.
He did the whole write-up on it. So 2 legislators here who I, quote, lobbied, asked them to help me with this bill, filed affidavits saying that I lobbied them, but they knew I never got paid, so it was a false affidavit. Yes. And right after they filed the investigation, all of a sudden a mass text campaign survey went out to the whole district saying, if you knew this candidate was under an ethics investigation that they filed, of course it didn't say that, would you vote for her? And I still won.
Because you were supposed to.
Right?
Right? Okay, the real politically savvy, Miss Tiffany. Do you, what else you want to ask her? Because this is, me and her could talk, we talked 45 minutes on the phone this morning already.
Tell us what you're working on now.
Yes, so what we're working on now is some parental rights bills. We've got some homeschool bills, talking about Gwinnett. We've got some homeschool issues that need to get ironed out. We really need to eliminate the state income tax. I mean,
look at me. What did you say? That's blasphemy under the gold dome.
Well, tough. Too bad. So
They're
sad.
not finna give up their sugar cookie.
Too bad.
Did you say that out loud?
Yes. Yes, so the Georgia Freedom Caucus, we have a plan to eliminate it in 10 years. Hopefully less.
You just gave me a hot flash. Hold up. You think they finna do
Hopefully, we can sure as well try.
But then you're gonna know who the opposition is.
Oh, we already know.
We already know all
You
that.
You finna do a USAID, so you're trying to be Elon Musk little sister.
Hey, whatever we can do, we can try.
You finna take them down.
We can do that. I mean, and think about property tax. We have seniors in Henry County who have their homes paid off.
Mm-hmm.
They might have to get evicted because they can't afford their property taxes. That is un-American.
Not only that,
or they're having to move out of their family home because they can no longer afford taxes.
The story is when you knock doors.
Are you ready for this?
Devastating.
His grandmother was pretty much like that. Somebody forged her signature, and we're going through an illegal land grab right about now. And if you've been, there's a lot of that right now in the state of Georgia. One of the biggest crimes is property fraud, and it's going on. Every other week, elderly people are getting thrown out of their house because somebody forged their names. We know for a fact at the state level there are no handwriting experts because our governor refused to pay for them. A lot of people, especially in the metro Atlanta area, and me and my husband, because we've been dealing with AAG and property issues for 5 years now. What we found is not only that, there's no protection for our seniors. Yeah, is it against the law for somebody to sign a signature and forge it? Sure. Who's gonna uphold it? It's like they're all in the bed together. How do we stop our elderly, even in Henry County? Because the elders live the American dream, and everything they work for, it is supposed to be handed off to a legacy. Now that's not a legacy.
And a lot of them were the greatest generation. They're the ones that sacrificed the absolute most, and most of them are veterans.
Here's something that you could probably do a little research on. There's 3 corporations that own 30,000 single-family homes in the state of Georgia. 3 corporations. There should be a law in the books. You can't do that.
Wow.
And I don't understand how 3 corporations is able to have that much inventory when there's a housing shortage or it's too expensive.
I have all the data for that.
Yes,
in fact,
please.
because I'm doing a separate little investigation on it, so if you would like that, I would gladly send it to you.
This is how this happens.
And a lot of it, they're doing a lot of underhanded stuff. And it seems like there are a lot of foreclosed companies in bed with each other to take these
they're
properties.
in bed with the mortgage companies too.
And it's our most vulnerable. That's who's getting hit the hardest, most. And can they afford an attorney?
No.
I mean, I'm.
Within the last 5 years, we've gone through $50,000 fighting this ourselves. So no.
It's diabolical. Is really what it is.
And maybe, just maybe, you can also, talk about somebody sponsoring. After a certain age, should be no taxes, especially for our elderly, especially for their property. They don't have children going to school.
Right.
Why are they still paying $1,500, $1,800, $2,000, $3,000 a year for property taxes when they've been paying their property taxes the whole time? Maybe, just maybe, give them a gold star once the property is paid off, so way they can actually own the land under the land. Because there's only 20 families in the whole state of Georgia that actually owns the mineral rights to their properties. And that's most families don't know you can actually own the mineral rights. You gotta jump through hoops, you gotta do a lot of investigation, but that should be part of a package if you decide to buy property in Georgia. You paid your mortgage, you pay your taxes. Now, here's you and your family for the rest of their lives. They're gonna always have a place in Georgia. Hopefully, that's something you can look at too.
And they can have the American dream and not have it ripped away from them.
I pray.
Wow. And this is how great ideas happen, you guys.
Because I don't think our 9 grandkids gonna be able to afford a place. So it's what we don't have to do.
They're the first generation for that to happen to. It's a shame. And we let it happen under our watch. That's what we talk about a lot about at the GOP. We have to look to these young kids and say, we're sorry, we should have given you the gift. And instead we were complacent or trusting, and we've got to get back in the game. That's why I'm
Gen
so
X, right? Oh no, it's not our fault. It's the boomers.
It's the boomers.
It's the boomers. It's not Gen X.
There's enough blame to go around.
Yeah, I was just about to say that everyone's falling short of it.
And people wonder, well, how come these 20-year-olds are leaning so conservative?
You're pointing to me.
These young people are leaning so conservative because
that's a good thing.
That's what I'm saying.
Only because of their grandparents, us. Only because of us, because we was raised by the greatest generations.
And they've lived through a lie, and now they are seeing a different option. Thank you, President Trump and his picks.
Well, actually, thank you, his son, Barron. If it wasn't for Barron grabbing on to the younger generation, he wouldn't have got those votes.
Exactly right.
And the way you touch younger generations now is the internet.
We worked so hard. Didn't we work so hard for that win? Oh, I'm still excited about it.
But yeah, they still fussing every day, every single day. So become that Doge in the state of Georgia. Because even though we got to balance our budget every single year, there's still some money that's missing. We need to find out where it went.
I like what you said. They're trying to dodge the Doge.
I call them the dog catchers because they coming for you.
As they should. As they should.
Are you a voting member of the NRA? My name is Lucretia Hughes Klugen. I will never compromise my beliefs in God, family, our country, and my Second Amendment. I am running for the board of directors of the NRA, and I would appreciate your vote.